Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Theodore Lazzaro of Aestique Medical Center. And today I'm going to talk to you about one of the newest and most exciting procedures that we have in plastic surgery. Autologous fat transfer. It almost sounds unbelievable that we can actually take fat from places on your body where you don't want it and transpose it and sculpt it in areas that we do want it. And it's permanent, non-allergic, and no immunity. I'm going to give you an example of a young lady who's a very attractive woman who we were doing a different procedure on, and she says, is there anything that you can do with a tired look that I have about my face? Now, if you look at her, she's very attractive. She has, in this area, a little bit of what we call tear troughing, and some people have it more than others, where this side of her face is a little flatter than this side of her face, and she gets a tired look around her eyes. Now, up to this point in time, what we would have to do is do maybe an eye lift, a blepharoplasty, or put in an implant. Now we can take fat from one place of her body, and she didn't have a lot of fat on her body. We actually took it from the inner part of her thighs, where she was happy to get rid of it as well, and place it around her eyelids and cheeks. So if I can just show you, we do this through a small needle prick, and then under the skin, we'll place fat in these areas and build up her cheekbone, come in through another pinprick and fill this in. This is very, very detail oriented and very fine. So we're building up the eyelid and building up the cheek with her own fat. And this also is laden with stem cells, which also helps the appearance of the skin. So now if we look at her here, I'll show you now a picture of her before and then after. And one other thing before I do this, let me show you. When we look at a face, the width from your jawline to your jawline should be narrower than the peak from your cheekbone to your cheekbone. On her, that relationship is somewhat reversed. We want to get her having more cheeks and this being wider than the lower, so she has more of a heart-shaped face. Now, let's look at her afterwards. This is her after, and you can see now from the peak of her cheekbone, let me draw that for you where you've seen before. Oh, I want a line. It's from the peak of her cheekbone here to the peak of her cheekbone is now wider than from her jawline to her jawline, so she gets much more of a heart-shaped face. Let me take that off. Now we can show you here. Now when you look at her on a side view, if you see a side of her in a 3/4 profile here, and then here, she gets a much more attractive structure and look to the face, where we have a higher cheekbone, a blend from her eyelid to her cheek, and much more balance, much more associated with an aesthetic look that we're looking for. This procedure is done as an outpatient. We take the fat, we can process it in real time to get rid of fibrous tissue, red cells, white cells, and have a stem cell leading fat that we can now put in through a needle prick so there's no incisions. The 2/3 of this is permanent. There is minimal downtime, minimal discomfort. You are going to have some swelling and discoloration around initially for the first 3 days, but again, no incision, no sutures. This is one of the most exciting, if not the most exciting area that we have in plastic surgery, because now we have a tool that we can sculpt and change positions, because this is an attractive woman, this is attractive woman on steroids, because it's balanced, she's in harmony, her face is in blend. Contact us, and if you want to talk about any of these procedures, the other things that this can be done, it can be done in the breast to enhance the circumference of the breast without putting an implant in. It is what is done for a Brazilian butt lift to add the contour there. It also can be utilized in other places like the back of the hands to fill up, giving it a more youthful look. And the other benefit that we're finding over and above, which we think is a stem cell effect, we get a glow to the skin that is absolutely reproducible. We use the best cosmetic skincare line, I think, that's available with our ZO products. But this, when you do that and put this on, the glow and radiance you get of the skin is another added bonus. Thank you, and please, we look forward to any questions or call in that you may have.